So today on the food plan, I'm going to be showing you how to make some chocolate and fruit panettone. So panettone is basically cake and bread joined together to make what it is. So of course this is a good for Christmas, this dish, and most people tend to buy panettone because they think it's difficult to make, but it is actually very easy to make, which I'm going to show you how it's done. So let's get started. Before you start making the panettone, you're going to want to preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius. And another thing too is panettone usually has a lot of butter in it. We're going to be using margarine instead of butter. So margarine is more or less just solidified oil. If you don't want to use margarine, pretty much use whatever replace you usually use in that situation, but the best thing to go for is margarine because it is vegan and it works pretty much the same as butter, so you're going to want to go with that. Okay, so we're going to start by making an egg replacer. So what I've got here is 1 tablespoon of Psyllium Husk and 4 tablespoons of water. So just mix that together. Alright, so to start with 500 grams of plain flour and put into that 125 grams of margarine and 75 grams of brown sugar. Okay. Now also add in 25 grams of yeast and a pinch of salt. And put in that egg replace we made just previously. And a couple of tablespoons of warm water. Okay, start mixing this with the dough hook at a slow speed. Alright, that's basically all incorporated. So what you want to do now is turn this into a dough. So put it to a faster speed on the mixer and add as much warm water until it forms a dough. Okay. That's pretty much it. That's what you're going for. Slightly elastic, not sticking to anything. If you found you put a bit too much water in, just put a bit more flour in, but that's basically what you're after. Okay, now take a flour board and get the dough onto there. Okay, just put the flour over that. Alright, now spread this dough out as much as you can. Right, so what you want to do first is take some margarine, just a bit, not too heaps, and spread that over the top. You want a fairly thick layer, doesn't have to be heaps, but fairly thick. Okay. Now, take some Castor Sugar and just sprinkle a little bit of Castor Sugar. That's pretty much optional, you don't really have to add that. Just adds a bit more flavour, I suppose. Now what you want to do is add a bit of dried fruit. So you want to add no more than about 1/3 of a cup of dried fruit altogether, but it is up to you. You can add more if you want. It's not going to make a really big difference, it'll just have more fruit in it really. So there's got a few different things here. Got some dried cherries and some dried ginger. Put a few sultanas. Put that on there. Okay, so that's the fruit bit. So now for the chocolate bit. So So I've got here 80 grams of chopped dark chocolate. So put this over. Right. With the dark chocolate, chop it up as big or as small as you want. It's really up to you. That's about it with this. So what we need to do now is fold this together. Okay, now you need to knead this for just a few minutes, just more or less, so all the mix you just put in, all the ingredients you just put in, is mixed through the whole thing. Okay, so I've been eating that for a few minutes. That looks like it's mixed enough. So what you want to do now is return this to the mixing bowl, and let's just do that. Cover it with some cling wrap and leave this to sit, to rise, for the yeast to sort of start reacting. So once you start seeing bubbles form over the surface, then you're ready to go and put it in the oven. So just leave that aside to rise for now. It'll probably take about 30 minutes or so. Okay, that's the panettone finished rising. You can sort of see a few bubbles and then stuff forming in the dough. You can always check by pulling the dough in. Yep, you can see all the bubbles inside it. So now it's ready to cook. So now it's time to cook the panettone. So usually it might be cooked in sort of like a small cake tin, a round one, so it sort of pops up and looks like a really big muffin at the end of it. But if you want the sort of shape that you usually see in the shops for panettone, which is sort of like a dome sort of shape, then you want to use one of these. This is a Christmas pudding dish. So what you can do is put the panettone into this dish, and once you turn it around, when you're finished, you'll get the same sort of shape that you get in the shops. But if you don't want this shape, or if you want the top to sort of like be crusted over and cooked, then you're going to want to put it into a regular cake tin, and you're going to want to brush the top with maybe some milk and sugar or something like that. But if you want the this sort of shape, then grab one of these. I've got the tin that I just mentioned. So what we're going to do is now is take some margarine and just rub all the sides with the margarine. Okay, and just chuck the panettone straight in, I guess. Put that straight in there. That's pretty much it. And put this in your preheated 180 degree oven for about 30 to 40 minutes. So you'll know it's cooked when it's fairly dark over the top here, which is actually going to be the bottom, but when it's fairly dark over the top, and when you knock on it with your finger and it sounds sort of hollow inside. So that should take about 30 to 40 minutes. But it may need to be shorter or longer depending on what oven you're using. Okay, so the panettone is finished cooking. That's just over 40 minutes. So like I said, it's all dark, you can knock on it, sounds fairly hollow, so it's probably pretty much done. So just turn this out and see how it comes out. Yeah. So you've got the sort of the dome shape that you're after. If you wanted a bigger one, you could get a bigger tin, make a bigger one. But that's basically all there is to it. So there is the panettone finished up. So as you can see here, looks quite nice. We've just cut it open there. You can see the fruit, bit of the chocolate swirled through. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Smells pretty good. You can eat this like this, eat it with custard, do whatever, but this is quite a good dish for Christmas. It's come out quite nicely. So that's all there is to it, so enjoy.